Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Shazam Fury of the Gods. So, now, I'm trying to think back. I'm assuming I did like the first one. Zachary Levi reprises his role. I don't know if it's the same kids and stuff like that. But anyway. Oh, Adam Brody is in this one. I was wondering. But, anywho. So this is the second installment of Shazam. And so if you didn't see the first one, I'd recommend you watch that one before you watch this one. This one's only 6.5 on IMDb. I don't think it scored as well as the previous one. 6.5, 30,219 people rated it so far, right? So, good, but not great, considering, you know? So the original one, this is what I want to check, in 2019, had a 7.0, 355,000. But it just came out. I'm a DC guy. Prior to the original movie, to be honest, I like Shazam. I always thought it was odd that Shazam and Flash both were red and lightning. Slightly different, but I did have a Shazam. I wore underoos. And I had Shazam. I had Flash. I had all of them. Forget it. All DC. All the time. And I remember even jumping off the diving board as a kid yelling, Shazam! But I didn't know that he was a kid and became the adult superhero by doing that, and I didn't know all the origin stories. I just liked superheroes, and that was cool. Another fun fact, if my Uncle Mike is watching this, probably not. Great artist, right? I was a kid. I loved superheroes. He drew for my candles, my birthday one year, all my favorite superhero fans. I'm going to say anywhere from 8 to 10, because that's probably how old I was, I would say, on the candles. I still remember that, and Shazam was one of them. But so were, you know, all the other good ones, which you can't see up there, but Green Lantern, Flash, Superman. I don't know if Wonder Woman was on there. Should have been. But anyway, enough about me. Let's see if this movie is any good. So, I'll check it out. I'll let you know. Stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody. I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching Shazam, the Fury of the Gods. We're at the 1 hour, 17 minute, and 53 second mark. Over halfway. There's still an hour left, though. So it seems, as I realize that, it seems a little long right now to me. But let me catch you up. Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren are the daughters of, I forget, Athena? No, I think that's one of their sisters' names. Anyway, they're the daughters. They want the powers back that Shazam and all his brothers and sisters have, right? So, hopefully you've seen the first one. If you haven't, you shouldn't be watching this review, but that's okay if you are. But he ends up using his staff and giving all of his family, his adopted or whatever foster family, powers. And so they're now using their powers in Philadelphia. Which is cool in its own right. I forgot this took place there, in their Citizens Bank Park right now. Anyway, to fight crime and save people and all that kind of fun stuff. But these two come back, and they want to get all their powers back and revenge their father. That's what really the whole movie is about. And so they got to try and prevent that from happening and all that stuff. So a lot of action, superhero stuff. Now, one of the first things, I almost stopped it right away. Honest to goodness, if you saw the opening of my review where I said, when I was a little kid, Shazam and Flash, very similar in, well, he addresses that right in the beginning. He says, he's like kind of pretending to be going to a therapist, and he brings that right up. He's like, I'm a superhero, but, there's other ones with, that have the lightning bolt and the red suit, and he's even faster than me. And I was like, I can't believe that. Like, I was just saying that, and they allude to it, and I had no idea. I didn't see this film yet. So I thought that was pretty neat and fun. The other part of it is, and I don't know, I should have probably watched my other review. I like Freddy. Freddy is Adam Brody, so Adam Brody becomes the superhero of all powers or something like that. And Freddy is the kid, and he has like the crutch and stuff like that. So I just really like his character. I think he's great. Good acting, like that a lot. I like the fact that the guy from Smallville is actually in this. I totally forgot that. That's probably why he left. The original, what's his name, from Smallville. But anyway, man, I can't remember his name. But so a lot of cool things that I like about it. I know there was something I wanted to say. You know, but here's one thing I will say. It's interesting. I told you the plot line so far, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu come back. They obviously have some sort of powers. They're fighting to, you know, get the seed to replant their own world, to get all the powers back, right? So there's fight scenes. They're pretty powerful. Why do they need their power back? I don't quite understand that part, but that's where we are. I just wanted to check you up real quick. Really wanted to tell you about that therapist scene. I thought that was hilarious that they brought that up, and talk a little bit more about Freddy. I like him as a character. The other ones, they don't give a lot. I mean, the Mary, no, not even Mary. Mary more as the superhero. It's really mostly about Freddy. Is really stealing the scene so far. So we'll see where it goes from here. So stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Shazam, the Fury of the Gods. I have a lot to say here. Well, let me just, I'll save that for the end, just in case there's people who don't know. So, I said it felt long, right? And to be honest with you, it's longer, I think, than it has to be. The final hour after the check-in is the final battle. You know what I mean? So there's like an hour and whatever, 10 minutes of development, and then one final battle for an hour. And I get to the point, and maybe I might be in the minority. Like, I like the fights and stuff like that, but I feel even in the, you know, everybody loves the Marvel world, and then even in all their end games and whatever, all those things, I think that the battle scenes are just way too long for me. Again, I'm probably not the right demographic. Maybe kids and, you know, people who are a lot younger than me really enjoy that entire montage of fighting, right? But for me, it's just, I like it. There's got to be some cool parts to it. But it feels an hour is too long for me, where I think that could have been more development on the other kids slash superheroes, more on the Daughters of Atlas, which I forgot. That's what I couldn't remember. You know, all of that. There's just very little. There's little story here. Besides, you know, we know Zachary Levi's and Shazam's actual story. And he plays a significant role. We find out a little bit, not find out more, but we follow Freddy around a little bit more. We don't find anything out about anybody else, right? There's no really strong development, character development throughout any of this. Now, I am interested. I do like some of them because you're given enough screen time. But the rest of them, I mean, you don't even know what's going on. Like, I'll give you an example. I think Mary was the girl Shazam, whatever. And I don't know all the history of all the Shazams. She's Shazam. But she's hungover in one scene. But that's it. They don't, you know, they say she went for the eye doctors and something like that. And it becomes kind of a little bit of a joke. But is she a partier? Or, you know, we don't know anything about that. I know she wants to go to college, but that's it. You know, so there's really, I think there could have been more character development for everybody else instead of the hour-long battle. So that's, you know, that there. What I do like I mentioned earlier, some of the things that bothers me about the DC. The Flash and Shazam, similarities in costumes. And then they reference the Justice League versus the Justice Society. That has always, I was like, you know, like, why would you name two different types of things, like starting off with justice kind of thing? And that's funny. So that's great. I like that, and I like how what's his Levy, whatever, plays as though he's a kid. So it's like Big. If you've ever seen Big, of course, hopefully you have, with Tom Hanks, and how Tom Hanks is really a kid trapped in an adult's body, and he does a good job, I think, because I'm trying to pay attention to that, of acting like that kid. And the kid actors I liked a lot. So the adult superheroes, Adam Brody you get a taste of, and it seems like the girl was just the same character, so you get a little bit more. The other ones, they're kind of, in the background. You don't get a lot from them, and you would expect to in this, besides Freddy. So there's all that. You know, and one thing, and now this is where, if you don't know, there's a cameo, like the DC has been throwing cameos in these things every now and again, which is great because it's tying it all together. So if you don't know who the cameo is, if you haven't been on social media in the last couple of months and don't know who it is, I knew this coming into it, then I don't want to spoil it for you, so jump off now if you're really dying to see that. But so, slight spoiler alert on who the cameo is. Okay, you've been warned. So it's Wonder Woman, right? Which is great. But the initial piece of it, I was like, oh, because I try and not read like I see it, and I'm like, no, I didn't want to know that on social media. And then I was like, okay, they're ranting, I think, about this. And at first I was like, holy cow, like, I get it now, that was awful. I get the rant. But it gets, there's a solution to it, right? So it's not as bad as I originally thought. So I found that interesting, and I liked it then when they corrected what I thought was a big, silly mistake, I guess. Anyway, with all that said, and you see this cameo of Wonder Woman, and then you think about what James Gunn is doing, you get so excited. It's like, wow, James Gunn really seems to have a passion for DC. Some things that I have no clue about, to be honest with you, that he's going to start doing. But kind of doing, hey, each character, there's a second post scene, I got to pause it here. You know, each character is going to play that character, and I love this. I love this. Like, Batman's going to be Batman in the movies, in any TV show, in any cartoon. Love that. I think that's fantastic, and I think that, you know, it's something Marvel got right away. But he's recasting everybody. And I just don't like that. I don't like that. I get it. It's maybe, I don't know, a reset, but, you know, how many different Batmans are we going to have? But then when you see this, and the cameo, and that's what referenced me, it's like, you're going to replace the only person that has been able to, Linda Carter, pull off Wonder Woman. I remember reading a story way back when they were like, why is there no Wonder Woman's, you know, character? We've done Batman, Superman, you know, all these other movies, and they've never pulled off a Wonder Woman until Gal Gadot. And it was because nobody could embrace the character. No, and they didn't know how to bring a giant Amazon woman to the screen. And here they did. Probably the most, I don't know, you know, money-wise, but most successful DC movie. I mean, this was one of the far best, the first Wonder Woman. So I'm talking about 1984. I think he's going to replace her. I mean, I know that hasn't confirmed, but so are you going to replace all of them? And maybe not her? You know, and all but one? Like, ugh, I don't like that. So, anyway, a quick rant about all of that. So we'll see. I don't know. It's neat to see this Shazam. We'll see what happens with him. What happens with the next installment? If they have another Shazam movie, or if he slides into somewhere else and becomes somewhere, that'd be cool. Or maybe he gets recast too, and they put in somebody in there. So I don't know. That's what I got. Yeah, you can tell I'm upset about that. Well, if you lasted with me this long, I appreciate it. It's got to be a superhero movie, DC. It's got to be over a 7. Probably not an 8 for me, but I don't have the heart to give it a 6. Still a lot of good aspects to it that I liked. As usual, hypercritical on movies that I enjoy. But if you're with me this long, I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Puff.